What's up, pretty gang? It's your favorite nail tech Peaches, back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about encapsulating raw glitter. Of course, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications, all that good stuff before we get into the video. So y'all see this set, right? Y'all see how pretty this set is. But what's even prettier is if you decide to join my membership and become extra pretty, for those of you guys who want some extra one-on-one help. Okay, so let's get started. So this is my nail art encapsulation drawer. So I went into the deep depths of my glitter box and I pulled out some raw glitter. So the reason I'm doing this video is because of course we could use some acrylic glitters, but I'm gonna be honest with you, the look is gonna come out so much better if you go ahead and dig deep right into the recesses of the raw glitter. So here are the colors that I'm using. These not polished colors, I have code Peaches for money off. These raw glitters, you can check my description for the Amazon storefront link if you're interested in that. So right here I have for you guys, while I'm opening up all these glitters, these are her inspos, and this is the picture that she landed on, right? All in all, she decided, I just want some glitter, so just hook me up, give me something as glittery as possible for my mama birthday. And I said, okay, bet. So I'm opening these up, but then I come across a problem. I'm like, girl, what in the hell is wrong with this jar? I'm thinking I done glued it shut, it's acrylic shut. Turned out I'm just slow, and my client pointed out that it's taped shut. So this is brand new, ain't used it yet, like duh. So first thing is first, we are pretty much going to lay down our kind of like a slip layer, if you will. We need enough acrylic, clear acrylic in the background so that this raw glitter will stick and not go nowhere when it dries, okay? So if this is a new technique for you, don't worry. I'm gonna have some beginner-friendly tips come up for you guys in a couple of minutes. But if you're not quite a beginner, then you could just kind of listen to what I'm saying and kind of go with the flow. Now, if you've watched any of my previous encapsulation videos with sequins, specifically gold flakes, I did one with gold flakes not too long ago. I'll go ahead and link it here. We're using the same technique. So anything that's loose like this, you never want to try and glue it down, because number one, you're really going to fuck up your acrylic brush trying to maneuver around glitter. And number two, as things start to dry, it's just not going to go right. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our clear acrylic. As you guys saw, I'm using Young Nails Core Clear, and we're going to do a very loosely structured layer. Okay, you want it to be slippery, and we are going to go ahead and place these glitters as we please. Now you're probably wondering, Peaches, why don't you just get a bead of clear and dip it into the glitter and lay it down? I'm glad you asked. Okay, the reason why I don't do that, and I never have cared for that method, is because if I get a bead of clear and then go ahead and lay it into one of these glitters, it's going to pick up so much of that color, and then with that bead it's going to add way more acrylic than needed. So basically what happens is every time I need to lay down a glitter with that method, I'm going to have a lot of lumps and bumps, and that's what we don't want. Okay, so here we go. For those of you who are beginners, let's go ahead with some beginner friendly tips. Okay, you see the words on the screen, beginner friendly, and I'm not playing around, it really is. So the main tip that I have for you for this part, when you're laying down the acrylic, is do not try and do a proper bead. It's okay. Just leave it as watery as possible. Okay, you see this? This is what we don't want to be scared of. Don't move too fast. You want to take your time. You want to get creative with the colors and use the larger pieces of glitter to your advantage. I cannot express to you guys how it can be a daunting task to feel like, oh my gosh, I need to fill up this whole nail with glitter. I need to pack every single little piece in. Do you guys see how I'm kind of hand picking these larger pieces and putting them where I see fit? All of these are different colors, but once they go on the nail, they're so holographic and reflective that it honestly doesn't matter as much as you think. So you guys see, every time I want to add more glitter, I lay down a tiny little wet bead of acrylic, and then I go in with my brush, my wet brush, okay, and then I will go ahead and dip in the glitters. Now you don't want your brush soaking wet. That's another really great beginner friendly tip. Okay, because if your brush is soaking wet and you go ahead and dip in this glitter and that glitter, you're going to get hella glitter. And I cannot express to you how delicate of a process that this is. So you guys see that when I dip my brush in to get it wet, I'm literally dipping in the tiniest little amount. Okay, you're pretty much going to do this entire process working with the tip of your brush. Now, if you don't have the confidence to get everything done in one go, or you feel like things are moving around too much, that's okay. That's fine. what you can do is lay a little glitter here, then move on to the next, lay a little glitter there, then go back and forth. Just like with the gold flakes, we take 1 step forward and 2 step back, because the thing about it is, ultimately, if this stuff don't dry how we need it to dry, everything gonna slip and slide. All right, so once I lay down most of the raw glitters, I'm going to go in with the acrylic colors. What you guys just saw me pull out was Milky White. Is actually like a super clearish Milky White that I actually made. I did that as a way to add some more depth and dimension once I add the 2 acrylic glitters on top, just to give it even more depth and dimension. Now, I do just want to make a really quick point. You guys are most definitely going to get clients that see a look like this, something that looks entirely like what they would think is just an ombre or an acrylic powder or maybe a cat eye polish. They're going to bring it to you, and you're going to have to decipher, look through all of the dimensions in the picture, and use your nail tech brain to see what technique can I use to achieve this look. Now, with talking with my client, we looked at the pictures, I talked to her, and found out that she wanted a look that was extremely glittery. And although some of the pictures that she showed me did portray some techniques like the ones that I just mentioned, we pretty much went ahead and decided that the best solution for her was to use a bunch of raw glitters to get the type of look that she actually wanted, which was as glittery as possible, a lot of depth and dimension. And so she was actually really happy with the final result. Now, if you are a beginner and you find this kind of hard to talk to clients, then what you're going to want to do is look at all of the inspiration pics that they're showing you. Girl, sometimes it's going to be 5, 6, 7 pictures, and you're going to find the common theme, right? So with all of those pictures, I established quickly, okay, it really looks like you want some nails that are pretty full of glitter. Now, some of them were marbles, and I did ask her, are you interested in these marbles because they have hints of glitter in them, or do you actually want another marble set? So she did say, okay, I don't want another marble set. So basically, what I'm saying is use the client's words to do a process of elimination so you can find the technique that you need. Now, eventually, I am going to show you guys a little bit of the actual encapsulation, so that way you guys can kind of see what type of structure is needed, because we are working so thin with the acrylic and the raw glitters that we will need to encapsulate purely for structure. Of course, to protect the glitters, but purely for structure. So it is important that we continue working in small sections while we are applying all of these top layers of glitter to get our dimension. Now, when you're working with raw glitters, I do also really want to point out that you are going to want to make sure the sequins and the glitters that you are working with are not going to melt with monomer. So this is why I definitely suggest checking out my Amazon storefront, because that is where I ordered, obviously, and I can pretty much guarantee that those sequins are not going to melt. So here we are with the encapsulation. Now, you can go ahead and encapsulate as normal, whatever methods you need. I'm using a 1 bead method. If you've been watching my channel for a while, then you know typically nails around this length, I try to get stuff done in 1 bead when I'm doing solid color. However, if you need to go ahead and break it down to 2 or 3 beads, that's fine too. Get the job done, okay? This set actually did take 2.5 hours, and I used up the entire 2.5 hours that she was scheduled for. So with the encapsulation, you guys can see it is really important to make sure that you are covering the sidewalls, cover the tip. If you do not do this, okay, listen to my words. If you do not do this, what is going to happen is that you will have spaces of gapping in the sides or in the cuticle areas or on the tip where there will be able to get liquid and lotions and perfumes and serums, and literally the world will be able to get up into your nails, and they will ravage them from the inside out. That is not what you want. Okay. So again, you guys can see I'm finishing off this nail, and I'm going to show you again how I encapsulate. Now, remember, because we are building in teeny tiny layers of acrylic, we definitely need to make sure our apex is built. So again, if you need help with the 1 bead method, I have videos on my channel for that. So don't worry if you need some practice, it's okay. Like I said, we just want to get the job done. However, working in small sections like I've been showing you guys throughout the video is going to help you get a really, really smooth base to encapsulate over. The main thing you want to make sure of is that your base underneath is not bumpy. So make sure your glitters are laid down really nicely and that they are covered up before we go ahead and do this step. So as you guys can see, I'm encapsulating. Again, I'm using the 1 bead method. And I'm laying the bead down, making sure it's a little bit drier than what we were just working with. And I go ahead and I tuck all the cuticle areas first. I specifically do this because we did work with a couple layers of acrylic and glitters. You got to make sure the cuticle area is tucked. I know we talk about that a lot, but it's specifically important because I even ran into a situation literally on this set to where there wasn't enough acrylic in one area and it filed away, exposing some of the glitter, and I had to go back and add a little more acrylic. So it happens to us all. If it happens to you, don't panic. Just go back, add the acrylic, let it dry, and just in the meantime move how you was already moving. Okay, so you guys can see I am making sure that the acrylic is thick enough to provide the structure I need for this length, but also that it's dry enough that I can carry the bead down, control it, and I can have full coverage over the side walls, over the tip, in the cuticle areas, and not have any gapping. Because I promise you, if you end up with gaps throughout the nail, your top coat is not going to sit right. Your filing and shaping process is going to disappoint you. Okay, it is really going to show its true colors when you encapsulate glitters and stuff like this. When stuff is not smooth and stuff is not cool, listen, it's going to show how much practice you need, okay? So just take your time and make sure everything is cool. Now, as you guys can see, like I said, I'm doing a couple nails here, a couple nails there, because I want to make sure that the glitters are dry enough to encapsulate since I laid them on wet acrylic, because we don't want them to move anywhere. Okay, so again, the method that I'm using is similar to working with gold flakes. So if you're familiar with the method I use for that, then you're good to go. So I did file and shape, which I will be using those clips for another video. But in the meantime, you guys can watch me top coat the most glitteriest set you probably have ever seen. And all of these glitters were hand placed, which makes this set even nicer, which means you can charge a nice amount. This particular client did pay upwards of $95 to $100, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully this advice helps you. I appreciate you guys for watching as usual. I'll see you in the next video.